even as you're winning your battles, even as you're going forth in God, you got to sanctify yourself. And if you get off track, which I do all the time, you got to get that accursed thing from off of you, because you can't progress any further. And we're going to find out about the fight that we're in. It's called Stand Up and Fight. All right, Luke 12:48. But he who did not know yet committed things deserving of stripes shall be beaten with few. Now, this is what I want to really focus on, the next one. For everyone to whom much is given, from him much will be required. And to whom much has been committed, of him they will ask the more. So we want to keep a hold of to whom much is given, much is required. See, we don't have a problem with the much is given part. You know, everybody likes to get all the stuff that God's given. He likes you to get, you know, everybody likes to get the healing, likes to get the anointing, likes to get the flow, but they got an issue with the much is required part. All right, just like the song says, you know, you want your family back, you got to go get it. You got to go fight for it. And I know with myself, I've been fighting, I've been praying with my family and stuff, and you know, and God's given it back to me. But it's not coming just boom with all roses. It's taking something. It's, you know, I thought, okay, God, you're going to give me everything back, and you know, you're going to free everything, and it's going to be nice and easy. But I'm finding out that's not how it is. You know, there's a lot of tests that are coming up. Just like, you know, when you get saved, somebody somewhere along the line lied to you and said that your life was going to be roses after you got saved. Well, we all found out that's when the fight started. You know, that's when it starts, and it intensifies. And you know, and I'm finding out now that after praying and fasting and interceding and believing God and doing everything I'm supposed to do, and yes, my husband is back, yes, my kids are back, but woo, the fight is starting again now. And it's not just being handed, you know, because it didn't say it was going to come to you with everything all pretty and nice. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight to maintain it. You're going to have to fight to get it, and you're always going to be in a fight. So to whom much is given, much is required. And with the much is given, God's given me all the things I'm asking for. God's given me, he's opening up my eyes as to what my calling is. You know, I can't believe I'm standing up here now. I never thought that would happen, because I did not want to be here. But, you know, but much is required. That comes with praying for people. That comes with now I got to watch my life. That comes with now I can't, you know, fuss out anybody like I wanted to before, and I can't use the excuse that, well, I'm Italian, it's my temper. No, that's not flying anymore, because much is required of me. There are people watching my life. There's people watching your life. They're looking at you. You're the only Jesus a lot of people see. So there's a lot required. And, you know, it's okay to sometimes get those out of balance, but you got to bring them back to balance every now and then. The much is required part. Well, if you're asking God for much, and you're doing stuff for him, and you're doing everything you're supposed to, and you got an issue with the required part, well, that might be a problem, because you may say, well, you know what, God, I wanted my daughter back, but I didn't want her strung out on drugs. Well, that's much is required. He didn't tell you that it's going to be required that you lay on your face prostrate before the Lord. He gave you your daughter back, but you know, forgot to tell you that she might be addicted to drugs. So that's as much as required. You're going to have to go through some things now. You're going to have to go through the whole steps of detox. You may not have realized that before. You know, you want your children back. You want to take them back from the street. Well, did you really think the enemy was going to hand them over to you? Did you honestly think that they were going to come without a fight? Did you honestly think that they were going to come with nothing on them? Did you honestly think your husband or your wife was going to come and not have some residue on them that you're going to have to pray through? That's the much is required part. And, you know, you may complain about it. You may say, well, you know what, God, this is what I wanted, but I didn't want it like that. You know, I wanted him cleaned up. I wanted him to treat me right. I wanted him to bring me flowers. I wanted him to remember my anniversary. Well, that's not going to happen. You have to do the much is required part. And, you know, if you're complaining about what you have, what you're fought for, do you really think God's going to give you more at that time? Pastor said in leadership class, you know, in Bible study, we are the salt of the earth. He said, if you get fries that are already salted, you don't put more salt on them. Well, if you're complaining about what you got, what you prayed for, do you really think God's going to be able to trust you with more? You got to get the much is required and the much to whom much is given and much is required in balance. And that's where the fight comes. So that's the foundation. Now, the basis of this is going to be in Joshua. And I found out Joshua went through some things. Joshua 1:1. This is pretty much where we're going to be now, is Joshua. Because I love Joshua. And God even lets us know there's a fight coming. And if you don't think so, well, you must not be reading too much of the Bible. But, okay, in Joshua 1:1. Now here comes where it says, to whom much is given. All right, it starts off in the beginning. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, and you and all his people to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Now here comes a promise of God. Here comes the much is given. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given you, and as I said to Moses. Now, if you skip down to verse 5, there's more of this promise. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Now here comes a warning. Be strong and of good courage, for to this people you shall divide as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. God's given you an assignment in his promise. There's a job he's supposed to do. He's supposed to divide this land. It's going to come, but he's got to do something. Only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do all according to the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. So this is a very specific plan that God's given him. He said he's going to give him everything. Every place that the sole of his foot treads upon is going to be his. He's going to divide. God has a job that he wants him to do. He wants to divide the inheritance, and he's telling him to stay on track. Don't turn to the left. Don't turn to the right. And he warns, be strong and courageous. So, there must be something coming. If God is telling you, be strong and courageous, it sounds like there might be a fight in the way. Now, continuing on in verse 8, the book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and you will have good success. So he's telling you again, stay on track. You got to remember this plan. You got to evaluate this assignment that God has given you from time to time. Make sure you're still on track. Am I doing what God wants me to do? Am I on track? Have I gone off to the left? Have I gone off to the right? And you got to meditate. You got to keep yourself on point. Verse 9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Okay, that's twice now. Be strong and courageous. So God must really be trying to tell us something. Be strong and courageous is coming up a second time. Let's go down to verse 13. Remember the word which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, saying, the Lord your God is giving you rest and is giving you this land. So he's reiterating his promise. He's going to give you rest. He's going to give you the land. He's told you twice, be strong and courageous. But in 14 goes down, and here comes the fight. But you shall pass before your brethren armed, all your mighty men of valor, and help them. Now here comes a very important condition. A lot of times people don't pay attention to. Verse 15, until the Lord has given your brethren rest, as he gave you, and they also have taken possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving them, then you shall return to the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave you on this side of Jordan towards the sunrise. The very last part of verse 18 again says, only be strong and of good courage. So God is telling you, you got an assignment. He wants you to go in and divide the inheritance, but before you can enjoy it, before he gives you rest, before you can go on and be with your family, you got to make sure everybody else has theirs first. A lot of people don't do that. It's not about, I want my family to prosper. It's about me. It's about what